Hi and welcome back to the garden. In this video I'm going to be planting the very beautiful Iris reticulata. Iris reticulata are one of the earliest flowering bulbs, so they start to flower towards the end of winter and into very early spring. They're the first flush of colour that you get in the very beginning of the year. They're native to Turkey, Iran, Iraq and Russia, so they're used to very cold temperatures. Growing them in the UK is no problem whatsoever, and they're beautiful to be adding to containers, window boxes, to rockeries, alpine gardens, and also towards the front of a very sunny border. Now I'm going to grow these in pots because that is the way I've always done it. I don't like to take the chance of growing these in the border because we can get a lot of rain through the winter and autumn, and that is going to be the demise of these type of bulbs. They need to be kept very well drained. So in a container like this, I can control that drainage. So I've just got an old terracotta pot. Now terracotta is brilliant because it's porous, so it's not going to hold on to too much moisture. And what I'm using is a very free draining mix of multi-purpose compost, perlite with a little bit of added grit, and it's just going to mean that these are going to be kept very well drained, so any moisture, any water going onto this pot will just drain nice and freely. In the bottom of the pot I've just put a piece of broken crock just over the top of that drainage hole so that it doesn't get plugged up. And I'm just going to put a layer of this beautiful compost mix over the top. Press that down a little bit. Now when it comes to the bulbs themselves, they look a little bit like a garlic clove. So they have this pointy top and this flat base. And the way that we plant them is with this pointy bit facing upwards and that flattish end downwards. This is the variety called Scent Sational, and it has a really nice perfume, really nice scent, and that's the reason why we decided to grow this particular one. It grows to about 15 centimetres, so between 10 and 15 centimetres tall, and it has these lovely purplish petals with these white blotches on the falls and a lovely yellow stripe, so they're very eye-catching. They're absolutely stunning. And when you're coming out of that winter stage, going into spring, it just gives you that burst of, we're almost getting through it. We've been through the worst, there's better to come. That's why I like spring bulbs so much, because after all the bleakness of winter, we're getting into the better weather, the warmer weather hopefully, and getting that a bit closer to our summer. So I'm just planting these with a bit of a space between each one, and as I put them in I probably just need to adjust the spacing. So I'm going to plant all 15 of these in this container, and I'm just popping them in with that pointy side upwards. And I'm making sure that as I plant these, I'm just making sure that as I touch them, there are no squidgy ones. None with any obvious diseases, any darkens or anything growing on the surface of the bulbs, and they're nice and solid, because that's going to give us some really good plants. So I'm just trying to squeeze these in just by adjusting where they're all growing. So we end up with something that looks a little bit like that. They've each got a bit of space between each other. And then with the same compost mix, I'm just going to cover them up. So they're planted to a depth of maybe 2 to 3 times their actual size. And that's a general rule with growing most bulbs. And just a little tip, if you are unsure when you're growing bulbs of which way up they are, if you plant them on the side, then they will find their own way. It's much better than planting them on the wrong way, upside down. Plant them on the side if you're unsure, and they will find their own way up. The roots will come out the right side and the shoots will just bend and come upwards. So I'll just top that up with this compost mix. And because these are very special, I've even gone to the trouble of doing a really special label. So I'm going to pop that towards the front, pop that down there. And then just to top the pot off, I've just got some grit, and I'm just going to place that on the surface of this pot. And that'll do two things. It will help to maintain a free draining environment. So as the bulbs are growing, they don't have too much moisture around the very top where the shoots are. And secondly, when it does rain, because we probably will get a lot of rain to when we're actually displaying these in late winter towards the early spring, it will mean that any raindrops, any splashes of rain will prevent them from getting splashed on the actual flowers themselves, which is really important because we've waited all this time to have these and to see these in flower. So when it comes to that time when they're flowering, we were trying to make them as pristine as possible, and the last thing we want is splashes of compost over the flowers. So that'll just help to prevent that. And what I'll do with these now is I'm going to give these a water just to settle the bulbs into the compost, and then I'm probably going to leave these then unwatered probably till around December time, and then I'll give them a water, give them a check, and then leave them again, and then keep checking on them periodically. I'm going to put these underneath our potting bench like I've done with a lot of our other bulbs this year, just to prevent them from getting too much rainfall during the autumn and winter, and then bring them out when I can start to see the shoots poking up through the surface and they're starting to produce some nice foliage. I'll bring them out and have them ready for displaying for when it's time for flowering. So if you plant no other bulb this autumn, I do suggest planting a couple of containers of Iris reticulata. Believe me, you will not be disappointed. Thank you so much for watching this short video on planting Iris reticulata bulbs. It's been great to have you here with me. If you've enjoyed the video, please give us a like, please subscribe, and if you do have any comments or to let us know what iris you're going to be growing this year, please drop them in the comments box below the video. We'll see you very soon on the next one. In the meantime, please do take care.